office to create a bill that would do this, but it's going to have to be lined up with other legislation to streamline registration process, to allow for this kind of self-certification in the food safety arena, and to deal with whatever the farmers market people decide they want to deal with. So essentially, we're trying to get ahead of the Food Safety Modernization Act. We're trying to, because a lot of these people will be exempted with the Tester-Hagen Amendment and the Food Safety Modernization Act. And so this falls to the state and the county to regulate food safety. And the state would like there to be some program in place so that every farm has some sort of food safety plan. And our organization believes in that. We have a person who works full-time helping farmers to do that. Finally, let me just say something about the farm stand side of the thing. We looked at that and decided there really wasn't anything we needed to change about farm stands per se, but we found that people were very concerned about the guys out along the side of the road selling strawberries or some other kind of commodity without any permits and just in an informal way. The farm stand owners felt like it was unfair competition because they often set up across the road from them. And then the produce industry itself was worried about this because they thought some of this is being sold out of the back door of packing houses or is stolen or et cetera, et cetera. We don't know where it's coming from. There's no traceability to it. Represents a potential health risk. And so our proposal was essentially to allow peace officers to make it a misdemeanor in the vehicle code to sell produce without the proper permits along the side of a road. And so if we were able to do that, all it would take would be a couple of tickets from the highway patrol, and all these people would know that they couldn't do it anymore. And so anyway, that's a potential bill that somebody could introduce. I think that it would have widespread support from the agricultural community. So with that, I think we had good consensus, at least on those issues.